performance enhancing drugs to take or not to take. The benefits are you become way stronger, you build a whole bunch of muscle really fast and easy with minimum effort. It's easier to recover between workouts. You can boost your self-esteem. It's a lot easier to go viral on social media. You have more energy and you can build muscle and burn fat at the same time, much easier than without. On the flip side, you get possible infertility, acne, possible heart attacks, high blood pressure, a shortened lifespan, sped up aging process, increased risk of injury, balding, small testicles, dependency on the drugs because your body struggles to produce its own testosterone, and you have to stick a needle in your ass. Which one would you choose? Steroids, right? Right now, they're being so normalized, I'm gonna be honest, even by people who they don't mean anything, they don't have any bad intentions, but they are normalizing it, right? And, even people who low-key, I'm not saying they have bad intentions, but like the trend twins, really, right? It's normalizing steroids. So I want to talk you guys out of it with 3 main reasons that you should not take steroids, right? So you already know the reasons in the intro. There's a whole bunch of reasons, right? Even more reasons. But number 1 is the children. You won't be able to have children, right? I mean, you might, if you're fortunate, but you very likely will reduce your chances of having children. Right, because your sperm count decreases. You have smaller balls. You have bigger biceps, but you have smaller balls. All right. So, do you want that? That's your primal biological drive in life is to have children. That's it. Men do things to have children. Animals, it's the same in the animal kingdom. I already said that on my NoFap video. Right. The whole reason that musk oxes butt heads, right, is so that they can be the number one guy to clap their cheeks, so that they can have children. Right. The whole reason that lions fight for territory is so that they can smash, so that they can have children, okay? The whole reason that peacocks have nice feathers is so that they can smash, so that they can have children. That's the whole biological drive. Our drive is to procreate, okay? When you take steroids, you risk taking away your opportunity to procreate. Your biological drive. You might be happy right now whilst you're 21, whilst you're maybe even 31, but once you're 41, that's going to start hitting. And that's going to be unfulfilling, right? It might make you more happy taking steroids, but it's not going to make you more fulfilled, right? Now, let's say you are able to have children. You still might end up having a heart attack, and your children might still end up growing up without a father. Isn't that crazy? Just because you wanted bigger biceps, you had to have a smaller family, or you had to rob your children of a bigger future with their father? Really? Just because you wanted to have bigger biceps? It's crazy, right? The reason you look at a woman and you want a woman with wide hips is because they seem like they are childbearing hips. That's all it is. It's so that you can have children. And you're going to sacrifice that for steroids, for performance enhancing drugs, so they can decrease your performance in life. Really? Right? Like it's stupid, right? And I genuinely want to have this serious talk with you guys to discourage any of you lot who want to do it, because as I said, a friend of mine wanted to do it one time, and even me, I considered it at one point. I was like, you know what? I already said that in my previous video, so I'll probably just link that video, but I even considered it at some point. And I want to make sure I discourage you guys, because I don't think it's not fitness. You might be into fitness, but if you're taking roids, you're not into that, are you? Right? That's not fitness. You're not going to be healthy doing that, right? Number 2 is you might not even respond. I'm going to be honest. You might not even respond, right? You hop on steroids, half of you lot aren't even going to get the gains that you want to have. I used to cut hair. I used to be a barber, and I knew this guy. He was like kind of like my boss in a way, right? At this point, I weighed 76 kilos. Right now, I'm 86 and a half kilos, right? I was 18. I was 76, around 76 kilos, maybe even less, but he weighed less than me. He was smaller than me, had less gains than me. I'm a lifetime natural. He was taking drugs for, at that point, 2 years. I think he was 24, and he told me he started taking drugs when he was either 21 or 22, right? I knew him, and I knew him a year before, actually, and he was pretty much the same size. He took steroids, and he thought I was taking steroids. I'm taking it. A lot of his friends were taking steroids, and they all had that same physique. Not a bad physique at all. He looked the same as me when I was 15 or maybe 16. My physique at 16 was his physique at 24 taking steroids. My natural physique was him taking steroids, right? So you might not even respond, right? And he was abusing these drugs. I'm not even joking. I remember once I brought my bike to work and I knocked the trash can over, right? The bin, I knocked it over. And there was a bunch of needles in there. I'm not even joking. I was shocked. I was like, oh, snap. Was I not meant to see this, right? I found out later on, I knew it was needles. I knew what it was, but I found out, like, whatever. My point is, That could be you. You could risk your health. You could risk having acne. You could bold, or I don't really think bolding is that deep, but you can risk all of that stuff, right? And then you end up not even looking as good as I did when I was 16 years old. Imagine that. You may end up not being as strong as I was when I was 16 years old. I had another client come in. My other client was a bodybuilder. He was natural. And guess what? He was bigger than that barber as well. And he was taking steroids. The barber was taking steroids. Two naturals in your shop. One, I had barely been training at that point. I took a break off training and I was only doing push-ups at that point. Both bigger than you. Imagine that. You're not going to be fulfilled. Whereas if you choose to stay natural, even though you might still not be as good as me as a 16-year-old kid. Your physique, your abilities might still not be as good, but they're your abilities. You didn't do any cheating. There was no cheat code to get there. You worked hard. There's a level of pride when you've done that. There's a level of, you know what? Cool, I'm not the best in the room, but I worked really hard. It's like women, right? Women who work hard on themselves, they work out, whatever, take care of their skin. Even if they end up looking like a 6 or a 7, they're more content than women who end up caking on a bunch of makeup for one, right? Like a layer of foundation like this thick, right? They end up getting lip filler, Botox, facelifts, what else? BBLs, lipo, cheekbone stuff, right? They end up doing all that stuff, right? I think that's face, whatever. They end up doing all that stuff. They end up not happy because now they see themselves as a template. But if they just chose to stay natural, it would be a lot easier to be happy. And it's the same thing with steroids, right? So if you aren't a responder, look at that. But now, on the flip side, let's say you are a responder, right? Let's say you have good genetics in respect to building muscle, right? You've got top tier genetics in that respect, right? There's no such thing as good or bad in my personal, well, there is, but anyways. And I mean like when you're completely messed up genetically. Like, I'm not talking about like average. But anyways, you know what, Bunny? Imagine you do respond well to steroids, right? That's cool. You respond well. Obviously, you know all the risks, the high blood pressure, the heart attacks, all that stuff. But let's just ignore those risks. Let's just talk about the fact that you can't hop off it. You become dependent on it, right? For two reasons. Mentally, your mind is now warped. You now need to be on steroids because you've accustomed yourself to this physique, to these abilities. It's kind of like, imagine you have an above average income, right? You earn enough, you're okay, you're comfortable. And then after 3 months, you become a millionaire, right? So now you're going on yachts, you're going on private jets, you have a much bigger house, you don't even need to clean or cook or nothing no more because you've got somebody to do each and everything you need to do, right? You don't even wipe your own ass, right? Then 3 months later, you lose all of that. It becomes hard to go back to normal because you've been accustomed to this millionaire lifestyle. That's why a lot of criminals don't end up stopping crime because they're accustomed to that big amount of fast money. That's it. That large amount of fast money. They're accustomed to it. It's the same thing with steroids, right? So you become dependent because you need that. You don't want to go back to normal. Imagine waking up tomorrow and you're Baki or you're Jirohana or Goku. And then after 3 months, you're back to be who you are right now. Are you going to be happy? I wouldn't be happy. Imagine I'm out here flying, doing key blasts, and then I'm back to being me. I feel like I'm pretty much got superpowers right now in my abilities, but damn, that'd be humbling, right? So you become dependent. On top of that, you become dependent literally because your balls have shrunk. You can't even produce as much sperm for one. Your sperm count decreases and your testosterone is decreased as well. So before you stuck a needle in your butt because you wanted to be better than your average gym goer, now you stick a needle in your butt because if you don't, you'll be worse than your average gym goer. Imagine that, right? No disrespect. Greg Doucette, great guy. He's now, looking after his health. He still has to inject testosterone. He still has to. Even if he wanted to go completely, he still has to. And I guess he could, but it would take ages for him to get to a point where his body can do it on its own. Do you want that for yourself? No, I didn't think so. So I highly discourage you to take steroids. Of course, I'm not talking about people who do it for career. That's a different thing. If you're doing it for a job, if you, for example, powerlifting, strongman, all of that, if your career, even jiu-jitsu, if it's allowed and you're not cheating, by all means, you do what you want to do. That's a different thing. That's a career thing. You know the pros, you know the cons, and you're still choosing to do it. By all means, more power to you. But if you're doing it to just pick up more weight and put more weight down, you're still doing the same thing. I can do a lot of weighted pull-ups, right? A lot of weight on my weighted pull-ups. If I was to take steroids, I would still do weighted pull-ups. I just do heavier weighted pull-ups but it doesn't change it. I still go to the same gym, or the same living room, right? But let's say you go to the gym, you still go to the same gym, you do the same movement, you just do it with more weight. Is it really that worth it? How about you take the route of training for athletics rather than aesthetics, for one, but also train a fulfilling route. You see, taking steroids is kind of like taking drugs. It makes you happy quickly, right? It makes you quickly, you're happy. You're like, wow, you know what? I see these results. Wow, this is amazing. I'm so proud of myself. I'm so happy. I'm so gassed. Cool. You're not fulfilled though. It gives you a massive high and then a massive low. Whereas if you don't go the steroid route, right? You don't snort stuff, snow, right? You don't get as massive of a high, but you get a lower high, but a consistent high. There's no stoop down, right? That's what I want you guys to do. Don't go the route of happiness, the route of the best feeling. Yeah, I'm on roids. I've got energy, all that. No, don't do that, man. Go the route of fulfillment. Train yourself. You might never be as good as somebody. I might never be as good as somebody else too, right? But I'm as good as I can be. Be the best version of you, right? And don't take all these risks, man. Have kids, man. Be happy. Imagine. This is the last thing I want to say. Imagine, right? You have a son. Your son's, he loves sports, man. He plays football, basketball, athletics. He even swims. You name it. The only thing is he hasn't taken to the gym yet. Today is his 16th birthday. And he speaks to you. He says, Dad, you know what? I really want to go to the gym, right? Finally, I'm allowed to. I'm 16. Can I join you? I want to have my first ever session with you. You say, cool. You know what? What day is it? It's chest day. Perfect. So, you get ready, you drive to the gym, you walk in through the gym doors, the gym guys, all your bros, they're like, what's up, man? Oh, is that your little man? And you're like, yeah, this is first ever session. Your son looks at you and says, Dad, I'm not that little. And he flexes. You just can't help but laugh. I'm sorry, son, whatever. You walk into the gym, he registers. He's officially a gym bro, right? You warm up, you get ready to bench press. You show him how you bench press. You get the barbell, you say, the barbell's 20 kilos. You teach him gym maths, right? And you start doing the bench press to demonstrate for him. He benches with just the bar. And then you get ready. You're like, cool, I'm going to put you on 30 kilos for now, right? So you put 5 kilos on the bar and he's doing the bar, right? Whatever. You unrack the weight for him and he gets ready to do the set and then the weight just falls down. Like, what? Son, where are you? Then you realize you have no son because you're infertile, because you chose to take steroids. Imagine that. All right, man. It's Beautiful Flex and I'm out.